So I will be opening them from our class time and from 12:15 up until 10 p.m. sampai 10 malam. So you are allowed to log in to your VLE and start answering this pop quiz anytime you like lah. But for each session, I open the attempts allowed here for 5 times. So it means that you can re-attempt your answering up until 5 times lah. But it's not necessary. It is up to you. But please do at least once. So that will be, I'll be taking the attendance based on the attempts on this pop quiz lah. Alright. So don't worry, this is only a pop quiz. It is not the official assessment of our quiz, which included for this subject. This is just pop quiz, means that I just want to test your understanding on the topics that we have learned before lah. Okay, it won't be contributing any marks to your total 100%. So don't worry about that. It is just a pop quiz, means that I open the duration for about 10 hours. So you will be able to discuss with your friend, or you can refer back to the notes. That is okay. Okay, that is allowed. Don't worry, ini tak akan contribute apa-apa markas. Cuma I just want to look into the depth of the understanding of all of you regarding the topics that I've taught lah. Okay, so this is for Thursday. So you don't have to log in to the Teams. So just go directly here and then start answering the quiz lah. And then after closing the quiz, then you can review your attempt to look for the correct answer. Okay, if there are any answer which are wrong, then you can check back lah. Saya akan enablekan benda tu. Okay, so this is just actually lebih kurang macam hint lah for your quiz later on. So it is just what we call it, persediaan sahaja. Alright, so don't worry, it won't be contributing any marks. Okay, so for today we will continue with the active components, which are diodes, and then we have transistor and the ICs. So as I've told you last week, that the first three components, which is the passive components, are the components which does not require sources to operate. Okay, so resistor, capacitor and inductor. So they don't need the sources, the voltage and current, for them to operate. But for these three, the active components, which are the diode, the transistors as well as the ICs, they need sources for them to operate. So that is the differences between active and passive components. Okay, so we look into the first one, which is known as the diode. So what is diode? I'm sure that all of you has your experience with diode. Okay, even if you are driving through the roads in Malaysia now, okay, whenever you are for example, you are stuck in the traffic light. So if you look into the traffic light, the green colored, okay, the red colored and the yellow colored is also utilizing the usage of LED. Okay, they are not using bulbs anymore. So it means that LED is very important in terms of our energy saving community nowadays lah. Okay, so as for that, then we have to look about what is actually the diode is. Okay, so it is a two-terminal device having two active electrodes. Between it allows the transfer of current in only one direction. Okay, so just one direction allowed. Okay, tak boleh daripada jalan daripada ni lah, daripada anode ke kathode, dia tak boleh ke secara terbalik. Okay, so diodes are known for their unidirectional current property, where in the electric current is allowed to flow only in one direction. Okay, so it is the simplest sort of semiconductor device where with the material with a varying ability to conduct electrical current. So that is semiconductor, that is diode lah. The simplest sort of semiconductor, the simplest example of semicon. Okay, so semicon, what is semicon? It is a material with a varying ability to conduct electrical current. So these diodes are used for purpose of rectifying waveform and can be used within power supplies. So it is also can be used in a circuit where one-way effect of diode is required. Okay, so depends on the circuit you are using. So in semicon, we have N-type material and P-type material. So N-type material is a semiconductor with extra electrons, which is called the N-type material, since it has extra negatively charged particles. So in N-type material, free electrons move from a negatively charged area to a positively charged area. So that is for N-type. For P-type material, this is the semiconductor with extra holes, since it effectively has extra positively charged particles. Okay, just now we have extra electrons for N-type. For P-type, we have extra holes. Electrons can jump from hole to hole, moving from a negatively charged area to a positively charged area. So as a result, the holes themselves appear to move from positively charged area to a negatively charged area. So that is the basic part of semiconductor lah, N-type and P-type. Okay. So the PN junction diodes is one of the diode types which are available, and it is used to allow current to flow in only one direction while blocking current flow in the opposite direction. Okay, so the PN junction diode is the typical diode that has been used, and the usage of this type of diode is to convert alternating current to direct current, AC to DC. Okay, so this is the representation of PN junction. So you have your P-type material and N-type material, which is separated with the depletion region. Okay, your anode on the P-type, your cathode on the N-type. So this is the schematic symbol normally that we use in our schematic diagram. And then the real component appearances. So this is how diode looks like for PN junction diode. This is power junction, power diode lah. We call them as power diode. Okay, so you have a stripe marks which lead a cathode. Okay, we have anode and cathode. So this line stripe ni representing this lead here is the cathode. Okay. Second one is the Zener diodes, which are specifically designed to operate under reverse breakdown condition. Okay, so these diodes have a very accurate and specific reverse breakdown voltage. So what is the usage of Zener? Used as the stabilizer. Okay, so this is the schematic symbol of Zener diode, the same way how diode is symbol, but with the straight line here, with this type of lebih kurang macam huruf Z lah, representing the Zener diode. Okay, and then this is the real body of the Zener diode. So same way, the strip here representing the cathode part. Okay. And then we have Schottky diodes, which are designed to have a very fast switching time, which makes them a great diode for digital circuit applications. So they are very common in computers because of their ability to be switched on and off so quickly. So that is a very good advantage lah for Schottky diodes. So normally it is used as rectifier or a mixer. For mixer is for RF, radio frequency, but for rectifier in power. Okay, so rectifier means the bridge rectifier where you are converting the AC to DC lah, so you can use this diode as well. So the same symbol, but now this line is converted into letter S lah. Just now it is Zener letter Z. This one is letter S. Alright. And then we have another one which is known as Shockley diodes, which is the 4-layer diodes with other diodes are normally made with only 2 layers. Okay, so it is a 4-layers diode, while the other diode, for example, Schottky, Zener, and power diode just now are only made with 2 layers only. Alright, so it is a bit special lah, this type of diode, where they are generally used to control the average power delivered to a load. So primarily used for switching application. Okay, so this is the symbols of Shockley diode. Okay, so looks like one line is missing here. As how normal diodes are drawn. Alright, so that is Shockley. And then we have the LED, the light emitting diodes. So these diodes are designed with a very large band gap, so movement of carriers across the depletion region emits photons of light energy. Okay, so how does the light emitted? By designing the band gap with a very large gap lah. Okay, the distance is large. So what happens? It will emit photons, which you can see as light. So for lower band gaps, LED emit infrared radiation, while LED with higher band gap energy emit visible light, so the one that we can see. So many stoplights are now starting to use LEDs because they are extremely bright and last longer than regular bulbs for a relatively low cost. So we use them as indicator and lamp. So you will be using them in the labs, and as well as I told you just now, they are used as indicator at the traffic light. Okay, so if you look at the traffic light now, for each colors there are small dotted colors. Okay, dia assemble supaya dia jadi bulat besar, kita nampak dia bulat lah, but basically dalam tu dia halus-halus kecil-kecil. That is LED. Okay, so this is the symbols. It is using the same symbols as the power diode, but with 2 arrows coming out from it. Okay, means that it is emitting lighting lah, emitting cahaya. Okay, memancarkan cahaya. And then we have photodiodes, which are sensitive to receive light. Right, so they are sensitive to light. They are constructed so the PN junction can be exposed to the outside through a clear window or lens. So whenever there is light, ada sumber cahaya eksternal dari luar, dia boleh menembusi dan dia boleh detect. In photoconductive mode, the saturation current increases in proportion to the intensity of the received light. So in photovoltaic mode, when the PN junction is exposed to a certain wavelength of light, the diode generates voltage and can be used as an energy source. So it is also used as a switch. Okay, so the same symbol as PN junction, but now both of the arrows are coming into it. okay, going into the diode itself. Just now for LED, the arrows are going outwards, but for photodiodes, they are going inwards. So, what is an example that these photodiodes are normally used as? If you are designing a system which will control the switching of your housing, for example, of your housing lighting system. Okay, so you want to design a system where when the ambient is getting darker, means that when the light is getting lower, means that dah malam lah. Okay, for example now the light is still cerah lah kan. So when it's going after 7, then it will start to the light punya, the focus of the lighting tu dia dah kurang. So you want to create a system where whenever it is dark outside, then the lighting of your house will start to switch on automatically. Alright, so you may use this photodiode as your detector and as your switch, where this photodiode will detect the availability of lights dekat luar rumah, okay, outside of your house. So bila luar terang means that the light is still bright, so it won't be switching on anything. But when it started to get dark, dia detect cahaya dah makin kurang. At certain levels, it will detect that it is the ambient is changing to night, to kepada malam, okay, to night punya ni lah ambient. So you can use them as a switch where it will start to switch on lights of your house lah. So which light, that is up to you. Yang mana, lampu mana yang nak menyala, you yang set lah. But still that it is doable for using photodiodes lah. So that is why it is used as switch. Okay, so dia detect ada cahaya, dia tak menyala. Bila ada cahaya, then dia akan onkan lampu di dalam rumah. So that is photodiodes. Okay, so there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of diodes. Okay, so the physics of diodes, we are PN junction diode, bringing the P and N semiconductor in contact, and this will create the depletion zone, which is here. Okay, so this barrier voltage, if you compare to this one, so ialah the depletion region here. Alright, so this depletion region is created when you place the N and P semiconductor together, means that you letak dia bersebelahan dekat-dekat macam ni lah, in contact. So this barrier voltage akan timbul. Alright, so reverse bias, there will be no current. So by applying the negative voltage to anode, increases barrier voltage and inhibits current flow. So macam ni kan, you terbalikkan dia punya connection. So what happen? No current will flow and the light is off. Okay, so the negative voltage is connected to the anode. So it means that now the depletion region will increase. So dia akan jadi besar. So bila besar, lagi susah current tu nak go through. Okay, so that is known as reverse bias. For forward bias, you are applying the positive voltage to the anode of your diode, so the current will flow. So by applying positive voltage, the barrier voltage to anode allows current to flow. Okay, so that is why the function of diode is to allow the current to flow in only one direction, unidirectional. So the light will turn on. So example here, this is the rectifier diodes, the normal diodes that we can we normally use LED, alright, photodiode, pin diode, okay, the rest Zener diode, okay, macam gun diode ni, laser diode, me myself, I never use them lah before. This is for SMT diodes. The surface mounting technology means that they are not pin through hole like this one. This is pin through hole. This is SMT, so you just place them on the board and then solder them to the board, not through the boards. Okay, example of diodes here lah. Right, then we move on to transistor. So it is an electronic device composed of layers of a semiconductor material which regulates current or voltage flow and acts as a switch or gate for electronic circuit. Okay, so that is the explanation of what transistors are. So it is composed of semiconductor material, at least 3 terminals for connection to an external circuit. So normally transistors are used for amplification or for switching electronic signal and electrical power, for oscillating circuits as well as for sensors. Okay, so that is what transistors can be used for. So the physics of transistor, two types, which is NPN and PNP. So NPN, you have two N material separated with a single P material. For PNP, two P material separated by a single N material. Okay, so this is the symbols normally we can find in our schematics. So NPN and PNP, they have the same arrangement of collector, base and emitter, but they are only differed on the direction of the arrows. Okay, for NPN the arrow is going outwards. For PNP the arrow is going inwards. Okay, so you have collector, base and emitter. So for transistor you will be having 3 LEDs, ada 3 kaki. Okay, macam resistor, inductor, capacitor, most of them are 2 LEDs sahaja. But this one is 3. So it is composed of N and P type conductors, semiconductors. N-type semiconductors has an excess of electrons, so doped with impurity with more valence electrons than silicon. So for P-type semiconductor has the deficit of electrons, which is holes, doped with impurity with less valence electrons than silicon. Okay, so collector, base and emitter, NPN. So between N and P you will have the barrier voltage, and then P to N you will have your depletion region as well. Okay, so there are 2 types, you have BJT and you have FET. Okay, so it is easy to identify between these 2 types of transistor, where in BJT is this is how it is drawn in the schematic. Okay, which is looks like this, but for JFET it is always drawn like this. So kalau you tengok dia beza dari segi bentuk line dia lah. Okay, so if you find any transistor which are available in your circuit, something like this, that means that it is using FET transistor. Okay, if you normally find out that it is using this type of transistor, so this is your BJT transistor. But normally we will see a lot of BJT lah. All right. So here the differences between BJTs and FETs. Okay, so how it operates. The BJT are current control, so they require a biasing current to the base terminal for operation. So they are current control. But for FET, they are voltage control. So they only require voltage applied to the gate to turn the FET either on or off. So they do not require a biasing current for operation. Okay, so that is differences between BJT and FET. BJT are smaller input impedance. FET are greater input impedance. Means what? For smaller impedance, they draw more current from the power circuit feeding it, which can cause loading of the circuit. While for greater input impedance, means they are practically draw no current and therefore do not load down the power circuits that's feeding it. Okay, the gain, BJT offer greater gain at the output than FET, while the gain of FET are smaller than for BJT. Okay, size BJT are larger, FET much smaller. Okay, so that is in terms of size. Popularity, BJT are less popular and less widely used, while FETs are definitely more popular and widely used in commercial circuits today than BJT. Okay, so BJT are cheaper, especially for FET, especially MOSFETs. They are more expensive compared to, even compared to FET pun, MOSFET tu dah mahal. Kalau compare lagi dengan BJT, lagilah mahal. So if you look at this comparison, meaning that FETs are winning in terms of most of the criteria yang ada lah. Okay, so that is why for commercial circuit nowadays they are using FET transistor lah. Okay. Example, this is the normal transistor that we'll be using. These are SMT transistors. If you look at if you look at the arrangement of the lid of the SMT, they are all looking like this lah, lebih kurang. If you find out that your transistors come something like this, kaki dia panjang macam ni, so that is PTH transistor, normal transistor. Right, then the last one, IC. So here, in the diagram here, as you can see, Bardeen, Shockley and Brattain at Bell Labs. Brattain and Bardeen invented the bipolar transistor in 1947. So the first germanium bipolar transistor, roughly 50 years later, electronics account for 10%, which is $4 trillion of the world GDP. So you tengok the effect of bipolar transistor ni into our daily lives lah. Alright. So this is the, what we call it, the timeline of IC. So just go through this by yourself. Okay, even if you look at it, we have our Nobel Prize winner here for their contribution in terms of IC. Alright, so vacuum tubes IC. This is, most of them are old tubes. SSI and MSI integrated circuit, small scale then medium scale integrated circuit. And then discrete transistors. This is for digital output, okay, digital ICs. And then you have the VLSI surface mount circuit, so they are more into SMT technology. So if you look at it, VLSI stands for very large scale integrated circuit. So means that they have lots and lots of functions available to be worked for. Okay, not like before. Normal components, they are only intended for one purposes, but for integrated circuit, normally they are used for multiple. They are used for multiple purposes lah. Okay, they can, for example, your processors in the laptops or on your PC. So that is basically one type of IC, but they are not going to be called as IC because they can control the whole thing, so they are called as processor. But still, the principles of their how they are working is still the same lah. Okay, the proliferation. Okay, so this one you read them by yourself lah. Sourced by Gordon Moore's plenary address at the 2003 International Solid State Circuit Conference. So this is about microelectronics lah. Profile, I think this is proliferation and proliferation. I don't know what it is. Okay, so just read this by yourself. It is not important. Device feature size. So for ICs, the feature size reductions enabled by process innovation. So smaller features lead to more transistors per unit area and therefore higher density. So this is the feature size. If you look at it from 10 to the power of 1, it is reducing until now 2020 up until 10 to the power of -2. Okay, so you can imagine it was so big in the 60s, 70s, but now they are really very small lah. Okay, so the memory chip density versus time, if you look at it, the number of chip density, okay, kepadatan transistor dekat dalam IC tersebut, they are increasing. In the 60s, you have up until 10 to the power of 2, and then it keep on increasing throughout our duration until 2020. Now it is up until nearly 10 to the power of 12. So you can imagine berapa banyak tu dia punya apa. Okay, dia punya transistor kat dalam IC tersebut. Complexity, okay, of course. Before in the 70s, you have up until 10 to the power of 3, but now it is 10 to the power of 10, okay, which is more than 3 times compared to the 70s. So we are actually expanding our knowledge on the ICs to create ICs which comes with lots of functions, lots of tasks to be done. So it requires more transistors on it, so the density will become very dense, as well as the complexity. The more your components is, the more your transistors are, so the more complex it will be lah. Okay. So this is the inventor of IC, Jack Kilby, Andy Grove, Robert Noyce, and Gordon Moore with Intel 8080 layout. Okay, so they are actually the earliest part where the ICs were designed before lah. Okay, bukan bapak Tony Stark Okay, so the Kilby integrated circuit, ini dulu punya. If you look at it, this is how Kilby's ICs, the first one. Okay, you have the electrical contact there, semiconductor die there, active device here. So they are, you know, very rough lah kalau you tengok ni. Okay, compared to now, ni sekarang punya IC. Okay, so of course you have used before in the labs or in your previous institute where you learn while you were pursuing your diploma. So this is an example of ICs that you can find easily in electrical and electronic labs. Okay, so IC are at the core of a modern digital systems. So the package categories, we have the pin through hole, where pins are inserted into through holes in the circuit board and soldered in place from the opposite side of the board. So you place the pins of these ICs through the board, and then you may solder them from the other side of the board. Terbalikkan board tu, you solder. Or you can use socket. So this is actually better. The reason why, when you are using socket means that you are soldering the socket. You are not soldering the IC, because the socket will the socket is the one that will be soldered. Okay, and then IC you just plug it into the socket. So means that you akan lindungi IC itulah. Right? And then manual plug and play possible. So of course, if in the labs as well, you can use it manually lah. Okay, untuk designing and everything. For SMT technology, surface mount technology, they have leads that are soldered directly to corresponding exposed metal lands on the surface of the circuit board. So what is this SMT better compared to PTH is they eliminate the holes, lubang-lubang dekat atas PCB tu. So it is of manufacturing where high speed plug and play. Okay, because you just place it on the surface of the board and then you can solder them directly. Okay, so you don't need to put their lead through the PCB board, and then you don't need to solder them on the other side of the board. Okay, to make sure that they are connected to the circuit. Components on both sides of PCB, of course, if there are no holes on your board, so it means that you will be reducing the size of the board that you'll be using for your design lah. Right? So you can use both sides as how you want to. You nak susun macam mana pun tak ada masalah, sebab you tak akan ganggu side yang sebelah lagi. Smaller dimension, of course, right? So the components are relatively small compared to the PTH, and then you are not drilling any holes through your board, so your size will be small. Improve package parasitic components and increase circuit board wiring density. So it depends on the size lah. Sebab size komponen kecil, of course density dia kita boleh kurangkan, kita boleh tingkatkan. Alright. So type of IC packaging, PTH, example PDIP family. For SMT, the SOIC, SC70, PLCC, TSSOP and TQFP. So that is some example lah. So the normal one that we use in our lab is PDIP packaging. Okay, normally that we use for SMT is SOIC or SC70. So the material, we are using plastic. So the encapsulation in injection model plastic. So that is what we use on this black body here. Warning, plastic molds are hygroscopic, means that it can easily absorb moisture. So storage in low humidity environment and observation of factory floor life. So stored moisture can vaporize during rapid heating, can lead to hydrostatic pressure during reflow process. So the consequences, okay, apa dia punya keburukan dia yang boleh terjadi? The delamination within the package and package cracking and early device failure. So when you are placing your ICs, make sure you use this point here lah, okay, because they are moisture absorbent. Sangat senang untuk dia absorb what is moisture, kelembapan. Alright. For material ceramic consists of several layers of conductors separated by layers of ceramic, which is alumina. Okay, so the chips are placed in a cavity and bonded to the conductors. Note, no lead frame. So tak ada The metal lead soldered on onto the package, seal against the environment, ground layers and direct bypass capacitors possible within a ceramic package. Okay, so capacitor pun, there are capacitors, we call them as capacitor ceramic. So kita boleh utilize them lah. High permittivity leads to higher propagation delay. So propagation delay is actually not a good thing for electronics because yes, delay, alright. The name delay itself kita dah tahu. Delay means problem. If you have delay means that you will be facing problems. So higher propagation delay will affect the performance of your circuit. And then for material ceramic IC, they are expensive lah. Okay, so this is an example just now. We have lots of types of IC which looks like this. So if you look at it, this IC has 14 pins, right, with a notch on top here. So what is this notch used for? If you arrange the position of this IC like this, where the notch is on your left hand side, so first pin is the one on the most left bottom of the IC. So this will be your first pin. And then it is counted in anti-clockwise direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that is how you identify which one representing which pins. Okay, number of pins. Or some of these ICs you may have dot on top of it, like for example here. So these dots here representing that this pin is the first pin. So it is either way lah. Ada yang ada notch, ada yang ada dot, tapi normally semua ada dots. And there are some ICs has both of them. Okay, so that is how you determine the arrangement of the pins for your IC. And then you have the company logo, whatever company that designed that IC, and then the serial number SN74LS08. So this 08, if I'm not mistaken, is OR gate or something like that. Me myself pun dah tak ingat sangat lah. Okay, so that is how you identify IC ni apa. Okay, IC apa by using the serial number. Okay, FFL, fixed function logic. So the two major fixed function logic families are TTL and CMOS. A third technology is BCMOS, which combines the first two, TTL dengan CMOS. So a packaging for fixed function logic is shown. So this is the IP. So your notch and your bubble here. So this is the size, the range between each pins and so on. This is for SOIC package. Apa tadi? This is PTH, pin through hole. This is surface mount, SMT technologies. Okay, if you look at it, they ada beza lah in terms of their size, length of their pins and so on. Okay, some common gate. Okay, ada dekat sini. 7400 NAND gate, 7402 NOR, 7404 is NOT gate, or 7408 just now, this is 7408, so that is for AND gate, sorry. 7410 1 2 3 3 input NAND gate, 7411 3 input AND gate, 7420 4 input NAND gate, 74214 input AND gate. Ini 3 input OR 27 30 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 input NAND gate, 32 is OR gate, 86 is exclusive OR. Okay, so you may find these types of ICs by typing their name lah. For example, this one, you type SN74LS08, then you will get the data sheet of this IC, but normally it you will find a lot of company which has the same thing lah. Okay. Okay, example, most popular PDIP, which is the pin through hole, SOIC, PLCC, TSSOP, and TQFP. Okay, so here, small outline, SOIC is for 14 pins, for PLCC, 28 pins, small shrinks, TSSOP, 14 pins, for flat package, tin quad is for 32 pins. Okay, so SC70, macam ni ada 5 pin. Contohnya adalah timer 555. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ni adalah example SMT. This one is example for pin through hole. Okay. So habis. That's it for IC. And then our transistor as well as our diode. So that is the three active components which are available normally in our labs lah. Okay. Okay, supposedly, yes, I was hoping that you are able to use the lab, okay, to do the measurement. Means that secara betul lah hardwarely kan, but because of this online version, so you won't be able to experience any of that lah. Okay, so yelah, nak buat macam mana kan. But basically for you to learn about workshop ni, supposedly benda-benda tu they are required sebenarnya. Supposedly dia diperlukan. But macam saya cakap lah, what can we do? Okay, so that is the 6 of the components of passive and active. 3 for passive, and then another 3 for active. So all of the notes ada dekat dalam e-learning saya, or you may refer to my video later on. Once dah ada nanti saya akan upload dekat sini. This is for last week on the what part, if I'm not mistaken, okay, on the passive component. So that is for last week. For this week saya akan upload later on bila dah publish nanti saya akan upload dekat sini. Okay, so as for now, do you have any questions regarding these 6 components? No question? Okay.
No, sir, no.
Okay, never mind. It is okay. You just go through by yourself. Okay, tengok balik notes, look back into my lecture videos. If you have any question, if you happen to find anything that you are confused, for example, you don't understand, or it is confusing compared to the one that you have learned before, just do not hesitate to contact and ask me. I will help you on the solution lah. Okay. And then that is for today. For next class, don't forget, you don't have to log into your Teams. I will be expecting you to answer this pop quiz first, but don't worry about it. It is just a pop quiz. It won't be contributing any marks to your total 100%. It is just a hint for you lah, how the quiz will looks like later on. Okay, so I will open them from midday until 10 PM. So take your time for you to answer them. Okay, but for attendance, I will be taking, depends on your attempt lah. If you have attempted the quiz, then you will get your attendance for Thursday. Okay. Alright, so any question regarding the quiz? Okay, for those, there are some of your friends might be having other things to do masa tengah hari tu petang, so you may take your time lah for answering the question. You boleh jawab masa petang, masa malam pun boleh, tak ada masalah, as long jangan exit pukul 10 lah. Alright, okay, so that's it from me. Okay, last time, any question, ada soalan regarding the notes or regarding the quiz? Kalau ada soalan, you may ask.
Tak ada, sir.
So far so good, sir.
Kuis tu berapa soalan?
Apa? Sekali lagi?
Kuis tu berapa soalan? Oh,
30.
ABC sir? MCQ?
ABC.
Oh, okay.
30 question answered in 1.5 hour.
Okay sir.
Alright?
Okay.
Okay, any more question?
No sir.
Alright, if there are no questions, then I will end the session here. So please remember this Thursday, jangan lupa jawab quiz, and if you have any problem, just text me, okay? Right, so Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Thank
Thank
you
you, sir.
sir.
Alright,
Thank you, sir. Waalaikumsalam.
sama-sama.